Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a cassava pone recipe with you guys. And the base for this dessert is cassava or yuca, and it's enjoyed mainly in Trinidad and other islands in the Caribbean. So if you guys want to see how I do this, then keep watching. But to start off, you're going to need the main ingredient, which is cassava or yuca. I'm going to use just about 3.5 to 4 cups of cassava. I'm also going to use some pumpkin, about 1 to 1.5 cups, and I'm going to grate these really finely. You can grate it on the fine side on your grater, or you can also put it in your food processor, but try not to add any excess liquids. You'll need 1 dry coconut. If you can't find dry coconut where you live, you can buy the pack, but make sure that it's unsweetened. If you do get a sweetened one, you'll need to add less sugar to your pone. The next thing we'll need is about 1 teaspoon of grated ginger, and this is totally optional. You don't have to add ginger. I just love the little kick that it gives to the pone. You'll also need about 4 tablespoons of butter, some nutmeg. I'm just gonna grate a little bit in there, probably about a teaspoon, and some vanilla extract, or in Trinidad we call this essence. And I think essence has such a nice taste, but the vanilla extract is much more concentrated. So if you're using essence, you should use a little bit more of that. This is way stronger than the essence that we get in Trinidad. I also have 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And the last thing I have is a cup of sugar. And you don't have to use brown sugar. You can also use granulated sugar if that's what you have. So I'm gonna go ahead and just ground these up. I'm gonna grate the pumpkin and the cassava, or you can also cut these into small cubes and put it in your food processor or your blender. And oh, I forgot to tell you, you need milk. You need a cup of evaporated or whole milk, and some people use coconut milk, and you can totally do that if you want. I just think it tastes way better with the whole milk. So if you want, you can add a little bit of the milk to the blender with the cassava so that you don't have to add excess water or anything. So I'm gonna peel these. I'll show you how to peel these if you don't know how to peel it, because I know it's tough to peel this sometimes. So I'm gonna show you how I prepare it, and I'll come back and we'll mix everything. So for the coconut, what you're gonna do is just take a knife and get the nut out of the shell, and you're gonna grate this as well on the finer side on your grater, or you can cut these into smaller pieces. Add just a tiny little bit of water to your blender, and you can blend this up. And if you want to make another dish, you can just strain the milk out of the coconut from the blender when you blend it. You can strain it, use the milk for something else, maybe fudge or anything else you want to use with it. And the meat that is left into the strainer is what we're going to use for our pone. So I'm going to do these and I'll come back and show you guys. So now that I've prepared everything, I'm just gonna put it into my mixer and just combine everything together. And the butter that I showed you earlier that we're gonna need, you wanna just put it in your microwave for about 10 seconds just to get it nice and melted, but you don't want all the butter to be melted. So first I'm gonna put the cassava or yuca in there. And this is really glutinous and it's gonna come out like a nice pie, like a nice custard. It's not like a pie or a cake, it's more like a custard, I think. It's kind of like bread pudding. It's really like gooey and soft, and trust me, you're gonna love it if you've never had it before. Now I'm gonna add the coconut. And I tried not to get too much of the liquid out of there because I wanted it to be nice and moist. You can also just blend it with a little bit of water and just throw everything in here. You don't have to drain out the liquid, only if you want to use the liquid or the milk for something else. I also have my pumpkin. And while you do this, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You can add raisins in this if you want. I'm personally not a fan of raisins, that's why I didn't add it. But you're free to do whatever you like with this. I'm just gonna mix this a little bit and then I'll add the rest of the ingredients. Now you want to add everything else. I'm gonna add the cinnamon and the baking powder. The ginger. About a teaspoon of the nutmeg. I love the taste of nutmeg and bone. I think it brings out the flavor. It's really, really nice. It has a really distinct flavor. And a lot of people don't like nutmeg, so if you don't have to put it. Now I'm adding the extract or the essence, the sugar, milk, and the butter. So now we're gonna just let this mix and then you can pour it into our pan. So it looks good now. My oven is still preheating, but I'm gonna pour it into my dish and then we can put it into the oven for about an hour. forgot to mention, if you want to add a little dash of salt, you could, but my butter was salted butter, so that's why I didn't add any salt. So as soon as my oven is preheated, I'm just gonna put this in there for about an hour, or until it gets a nice crust on the top and it starts looking golden brown. So I'm gonna put this in there and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. So I just took the pone out of the oven after an hour, and you can see how nice and brown, dark brown the top got, and it's really crispy. But we can't cut this as yet. We have to let it cool because it'll just break apart. So as soon as it cools, I'll cut it and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the pone looks like. I just cut it. It's still warm and it's still a little bit gooey, but it smells really amazing. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you think. If you want to see my videos as soon as I upload them, subscribe to my channel. Leave me comments below if you have any questions or comments or anything. And thumbs up the video if you like it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!